here am I spending my Sunday afternoon making a review video. So hopefully you're watching this and it will help you prepare for our test on Tuesday. I'm at home, so I'm using my fingers to scroll and write. So if it's a little messy, I apologize. Try and listen to what I'm saying to help make sense of what I'm writing. First question. What is the opposite of -9? So as you're doing these, if you need to, you can pause the video, make sure you know how to answer it, and then I will answer it. But the opposite of -9 is +9. Okay. Question 2. Kyle is currently 60 feet above sea level. What correctly describes the opposite? So you can pause it. But if he's at 60 feet above sea level, the opposite is 60 feet below sea level. Okay. Question 3. What is the absolute value of 27? Absolute value means how far the number is from 0. So 27 is 27 spaces from 0. Question 4. In Albany, it is -4 degrees Fahrenheit. In Chicago, it is -14 degrees Fahrenheit. In Minneapolis, it is -11 degrees Fahrenheit. And in Toronto, it is -13 degrees Fahrenheit. Which city is the coldest? So if you think about this as a number line, the further to the left, the colder it is. The furthest to the left on here is -13 degrees. Out of all of these, -13 would be, oh, whoops, I messed that up because I didn't read. No, the first one is not -13. The furthest is -14. And then as you move closer to 0, you would have -13 of the numbers that we have here. You'd have -12, then you'd have -11. Closer to 0, you'd get to -4. -14 is the coldest, and that is in Minneapolis. Oh, See, this is what I'm saying to people. You got to read the questions. Let's go through this again. So the coldest is -14. And Albany, it's -4. Chicago is -14. Made some mistakes on that one because I wasn't reading carefully. It was kind of rushing. Don't let that happen to you on your test. Which shows the integers ordered from greatest to least. So we want to start with the biggest. So looking at these, just pause video, make sure you know. But the correct answer, I think, is A. 18 is bigger than 4, which is bigger than 3, which is bigger than 2, which is bigger than -15. So it is A. Number 6, Joanna split 3 pitchers of water equally among her 8 plants. What fraction of a pitcher did each plant get? So she had 3 pitchers. I'm going to make a picture here to help you make sense. Here's my 3 pitchers of water. And to help you make some sense, I can see that the answers here, the choices are something over 8 or something over 3. So let's think about this. If she split this into 8s, she split this into 8s, and she split this into 8. So I think of her taking this pitcher, sorry, it's making a mess here. We're having some issues here, so let's clean that up. And she poured that first pitcher on her 8 plants. And then she poured that second pitcher on 8 plants. She poured a little bit from each. So she basically poured 1/8 on each plant. So 1/8 of this one, 1/8 of this one, and 1/8 of this one. Each plant would get 3/8 of a pitcher. Which set or sets does the number negative 22 belong to? Well, it is not a whole number because whole numbers are positive. It is rational. It is an integer. Integers are whole numbers and they're opposites. Because here it's not that one because it's not a whole number. Positive 22 would be a whole number. Negative 22, not a whole number. Carlos swam to the bottom of a pool that is 12 feet deep. So he went down 12 feet. What is the opposite? So the opposite of down 12 is up 12. Having all kinds of problems with this. So I'm going to move it around at recenter. So what number shows 1/3 and its opposite? So this would be 1/3, but there's no opposite there. Okay, so this will help. This is 1, 2, 3. So these are broken into thirds. That shows 2/3. This shows 1/3 and 0. This would show 1/3. And this is negative 1/3. Okay. Which of the following shows the numbers in order from least to greatest? So this is what we have been working on this week in class. I need to convert these to, I'm going to convert them all to decimals. So 2/3 as a decimal. 2 does not go into 3. Sorry, 3 does not go to 2. But 3 goes into 20, so I can add a decimal point and think of this as that. And then this would be a 6. Sorry, I'm writing with my finger on a trackpad. It's very messy. And then 6 times 3 is 18. That's my multiplication. I subtract. I get 2. So I have to add a 0. Bring it down. And I'm going to get in this pattern here. And I'm going to get 0.6666666. Let me change my color so I can keep track over here. I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to go 3 divided by 4. 4 is not going to 3, but it's going to go into 30. So I can think of this as like a decimal. I will think of it like it's 30, it's 3.0. 7 times 4 is 28. I'm ignoring that decimal, so I can say 30 minus 28 is 2. I'm going to run out of space here. You could do it in a separate piece of paper. That's going to become 20. You can... there we go. That'll become 20. Okay. So negative 2/3 is the same as negative 0.666. But negative 0.75 is less than negative 66/100ths because 0.75, negative 0.75, if I think about this like a number line. Again, sorry, it's writing with my fingers here. If I'm doing negatives, there, then I would have. Okay. So it's not A. It's not B because my negatives would be smaller than my positives. It's not C because I already discussed that I have to have negative 75/100ths as my smallest. Looks like it's D. and then negative 66 hundredths, and then 0, and then the positive number. So it is D. Okay. Going on to the second page. And by the way, this is exactly what your test looks like. So if you're following along and doing this, you should be in good shape. Which number line shows an integer and its opposite? Well, an integer is a whole number. So if this is 1, its opposite would be negative 1, not A. 1, 2, 3. The opposite of 3 would be negative 3, 1, 2. Ooh, looks like it's B. Let's see what my other choices are. This is 1 and negative 5, so not C. This is 2. And this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So the correct answer is B. So number 12, I don't know if this one will count this on your test, but what they want you to realize, oh, that's a problem, is if I come over here, is that 7 times 6 would give me 42. And 7 times 9 would give me 63. So the common, what they have in common is 7. Okay, so if I multiply 7 times 6 times 9, I'm going to get the same thing as this. So what I think the problem is saying, if you're not sure, and I'm not sure, because we don't really do problems like this in class, but if I'm not sure, I could always do this. Right? 42 plus 63 is 5. And, okay, ooh, so it is not 42 times 9. That's going to be too big. Let's try this one. Well, let's try 7 times 15. Don't think it's that, but let's just see. So this is not the way that we taught it in class, and I'll be honest, it's not a concept I'm familiar with. But if I check my answers, 1 times 7 is 7 plus 3 is 105. Another way we could have done this is, it doesn't say this, is if this says 9. So if we take the common factor 7 and multiply it by the sum of the other two factors, then it will work. And if you're not sure if you can find this, you can always do what I did. I tried something, didn't work, tried something else. Okay, least common multiple. I want to clear some of this. Least common multiple of 9 and 15. So the way that we were doing these in class is we would say 9 and 15, and then we would start multiplying. And we could multiply 15 times 9 to get our endpoint. We don't really need to do that, but since we learned to do that, let's do that. 9 and 4 is 135. So 135, and it is there, is a multiple of 9 and 15. It's not the least. Take that one off. And I could kind of look here. 9 times 2, 15 times 2 is 30. But 9 times 2 is 18. It's very hard to figure, right? And then 9 times 3 is 27. Right? And 9 times 4 is 36. And 9 times 5 is 45. Down here, 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 3 is 45. So I am going to say the answer is 45. What is the greatest common factor? Look at this. So you could be pausing this and trying this. I'm going to do this work down here. What is the greatest common factor of 40 and 72? I might make a mess here. Let's try to give myself lots of space. So I would do 1 times 40 is 40. 2 times 20 is 40. 3 is not a factor of 40. 4 times 10 is 40. 5 times 8 is 40. 6 is not a factor of 40. 7 is not a factor of 40. And then I'm back at 8. So now let's do 72. 1 times 72. Since 72 is even, 2 is a factor of 72. But let's say I don't know 2 times what is 72. I can always come over here and divide. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Next step, bring down. And then we're going to repeat. Well, that should be a 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12. We have 0 and nothing else to bring down. So over here in factor pairs. Okay. Next one is 3. So 72. 7 plus 2 is 9, which means that 72 is divisible by 3, since 9 is divisible by 3 without a remainder. 3 goes into 7 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. 1. Bring down the 2. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. So it's 3 and 24. 72 divisible by 4. If you have a multiplication chart, your multiplication chart does not go this high, so you have to be able to do some of this division. So we've been doing a lot of division in this class, so let's see. 4 goes into 7 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract 7 minus 4 is 3. Bring down a 2. And now you can use your multiplication table to see that 4 does go into 32 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. So we have 4 and we have 18. Okay. So 5 does not go into 72. I could check 6, but honestly 6 is not a factor of 40, so even if 6 is a factor of 72, it's not going to be a common one. 7, oh, I can do 8. 8 times 9 is 72. So let's look at what they have in common here. They both have a 1. They both have a 2. They share a common factor of 4. They share a common factor of 8. But then they share no other common factors. So the GCF of 40 and 72 is 8. Now we have a mini task. Let's see what